Florida's Attorney General wants to turn the Everglades, yes, the fragile ecosystem with gators, panthers, and literal swampland, into a detention center for migrants. Let that sink in for a moment.
30 square mile area is completely surrounded by the Everglades. Presents a efficient, low-cost opportunity to build a temporary detention facility because you don't need to invest that much in the perimeter. People get out, there's not much waiting for them other than alligators and pythons. Nowhere to go, nowhere to hide. Within just 30 to 60 days after we begin construction, it could be up and running and could house as many as 1,000 criminal aliens. This presents a great opportunity for the state of Florida to work with Miami-Dade and Collier counties. Alligator Alcatraz, we're ready to go.
No, this isn't a dystopian Netflix series. This is an actual policy proposal being floated in 2025. And yes, people are actually calling it Alligator Alcatraz. During this recent press conference, the AG claimed the federal government has failed to secure the border and floated the Everglades as a remote, cost-effective solution to detain migrants entering the U.S. So in other words, let's take human beings fleeing violence and poverty and dump them in a swampland surrounded by alligators. Makes sense, right? Let's talk about why they picked the Everglades. It's not just random, it's remote, isolated, and intentionally hard to access. So if you wanted to hide people away from lawyers, media, and community support, this is exactly the kind of place you would choose. There, they wouldn't have to deal with the type of pushback that we're seeing in California. Yeah, this isn't about logistics, it's about control and visibility. You put a facility like this in the middle of nowhere, and suddenly it's a lot easier to ignore what's actually happening inside. But let's not forget, the Everglades is a protected national ecosystem. It's home to our endangered species, fragile wetlands, and supplies clean water to millions of our Floridians. So not only is this a human rights concern, it's an environmental disaster just waiting to happen. So let's get serious for a second. This isn't just ethnically messed up. It could be flat out illegal. Under U.S. law and international treaties, asylum seekers have the right to due process, legal counsel, and humane treatment. Locking them away in the middle of the Everglades makes all that practically impossible. But I think that's kind of the point. But the Everglades aren't just remote. They're dangerous. We're talking about a literal swamp full of heat, humidity, wildlife, and unstable ground. These aren't safe or humane conditions for anyone, let alone vulnerable families and children. Some say this is just red meat for the far-right base and attention-grabbing stunt. And yeah, Florida is real good at that nowadays. But others worry it's just a test for something bigger. Now, I know Florida has a long, complicated history with immigration, but building prison camps in the middle of a swamp surrounded by gators and cut off from the rest of the outside world, that's not policy, that's punishment. And let's call it what it really is. State-sanctioned dehumanization dressed up as border security. So let me know what you think in the comments. Is this a political stunt or is this the future of immigration enforcement in Florida? So please subscribe. I'm trying to hit my first 100 subscribers.